Hello everyone, today we are going to be talking about the early season play of the Philadelphia 76ers and how they have looked with their all-star and Ben Simmons out of the lineup. If you do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers have benefited most on the offensive end with Ben Simmons out of the lineup. They have taken on one of the best offenses in the league in his absence. This is while Joel Embiid has missed a significant portion of their games. Joel Embiid has missed 6 of their 15 games, and yet the Philadelphia 76ers remain as one of the top offensive teams in the NBA, currently second in offensive rating amongst Miami, Golden State, and Utah, which is a pretty good ground to be in. But of course, with Ben Simmons out of the lineup, their defense has suffered. And now, no doubt, it has also suffered by the fact that Joel Embiid has missed 6 games this year. And so currently they are 24th in the league in defensive rating, which I don't think is true to how good their defense actually is. Once Joel Embiid is back healthy, I think they're about middle of the pack. But point being is last year they were a top 3, top 4 defense in the NBA while being about a middle of the pack offense. And they've kind of flipped that this year with Ben Simmons out of the lineup. Now their defense is much worse, but their offense is much better. And so today I want to focus primarily on what makes their offense so much better with Ben Simmons out of the lineup, and some of the players that have stepped up and played extremely well this year with him out of the lineup. So let's go ahead and talk about the success of the 76ers on the offensive end. So first off, when you're talking about the success of the Philadelphia 76ers, even though he has missed time this year, you can't look any further than the play of Joel Embiid. He has not been at his best this year. He has not been anywhere near as efficient from outside of the paint or underneath the rim, from outside of underneath the rim, I should say, as you would like. But he has shot better from deep this year, which is a positive sign, shooting 39% from deep on the year. But his mid-range game has not been as good as you would like it to be. Nonetheless, he's still been solid. He's averaging over 20 a night, nearly 10 rebounds a game. And his defensive presence is just that much more noticeable and impactful with Ben Simmons out of the lineup. A great rim protector, one of the best paint defenders in the NBA, and he continues to show that this year. Tobias Harris has also missed 6 games himself due to some protocol issues and injuries, but he's averaging 20 a night as well, over 8 rebounds, over 4 assists. I also will notice on the point of assists, Joel Embiid's playmaking has been much more noticeable on this team this year as well. Part of that is due to the playmaking of Ben Simmons being gone, Joel Embiid getting the ball more, but now that he has more shooters around him, he gets doubled more, he's able to kick out to more shooters and utilize his playmaking ability to a greater degree, and he's been very effective at that so far this season. But back to Tobias Harris, been a solid scorer for this team, attacking the rim in mid-range, solid, getting to utilize a bit more of his offensive arsenal as opposed to just catch and shoot scenarios that he has done a little bit more often over the last few years. Not shooting as good from deep as you would like him to yet, but solid everywhere else and giving you a little bit of playmaking and rebounding as well. The most notable things that I want to talk about are the play of Tyrese Maxey and Seth Curry, and then some of the role players around them that are just good spacers, good shooters that now get more time on the court, and alongside having better spacing with only either having Embiid or Drummond on the floor and not having Embiid and or another big with Simmons on the floor and not having that level of spacing, and how that makes such a difference for the 76ers offense. But first, let's talk about Tyrese Maxey. One of the most improved players in the NBA so far this year, is not going to be in contention for the award because he's a second-year player, and I have no problem with that. But he's averaging over 17 points per game, a bit over 4 assists, giving you some scoring, some playmaking. He naturally has never looked like an elite three-point shooter, but he might be changing that. He's not shooting an absurd amount of threes, but he is making the ones he is taking, no doubt, only attempting a bit over 3 per game, but he's shooting them at 42%, which is absolutely marvelous. But where Tyrese Maxey's game really comes out on the offensive end is from the mid-range and especially in the paint. His floaters are ridiculously good. The speed at which he takes some of his floaters are absurd. I know me personally and a lot of other players that shoot floaters my level or NBA level, there's usually a bit of a reduction in speed when you're hitting that floater. You're already going to be on the move, but just being a little bit slower makes it a little bit easier to control and gauge that distance and speed that you need on that shot. Some of those Maxi's just full speed running in and just jumps in and hits that floater, and he's so good at it. He can finish in the rim. He's crafty for himself, setting up others, you name it. Tyrese Maxey is an extremely good point guard that I think is going to have a long-term role as a starting point guard in the NBA. And Seth Curry has tailed off a little bit more over the last couple of games, but has been extremely good this year. Continues to improve on the offensive end to be more than just a catch-and-shoot three-point guy. Good off-ball movements, good movement off screens, can get off the dribble a little bit more and finish in the mid-range game. He has been extremely good for the 76ers team, and that trade continues to look better and better, acquiring him for Josh Richardson. What I want to talk about as well is some of the role players around this team that now, without Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid carrying the court at once, and just having Joel Embiid or Andre Drummond having that spacing that has been so beneficial for them. And so now you only ever have one big, and often it's Embiid when he is healthy. So you have that level of spacing. You have a guy who's solid in the paint, who can get you rebounds, get you buckets, in Embiid or Drummond, because Drummond can still get you some rebounds and get you some points. He's not an amazing big, there's no doubt about it. We've finally come to the recognition that Andre Drummond is not some all-star big, but he's a solid backup big, there's no doubt about it, and he's been more than fine for them as a starter in the few games he has needed to start. But point being is now you have Maxey, Harris, Curry, Milton, Niang, Korkmaz, Danny Green. You have some nice spacing around these guys that A, make it a lot easier for Embiid to operate and have his spacing down in the paint, or B, if they want to start doubling him, well then crap, you got four guys that can stroke it from outside. Tobias Harris, solid three-point shooter. Maxey, shooting very well. And Seth Curry, as mentioned. Jake Milton is also a solid three-point shooter, although he has struggled so far this year. Georges Niang has been shooting at a ridiculous clip for this team, nearly 40%. Korkmaz, we all know, is a solid shooter. And Danny Green has been shooting it well, as he does. The 76ers are just built so much better on the offensive end, and there's no doubt they are not as good of a defensive team without Ben Simmons. But if they can trade away Ben Simmons and get even just some decent assets to add to this team, and they'll get something at least decent because it's Ben Simmons and he still carries fairly significant value, this Philadelphia 76ers team looks so much more fluid on offense, has so much more spacing, that just fits so much better in the modern NBA game, and ultimately have a chance to be a fairly successful franchise moving forward, even without Ben Simmons. That being said, that is my thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers so far this season. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this Philadelphia 76ers team without Ben Simmons so far. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.